What up, internet land? Hey, internet land. It's Beau the mechanic. I thought that I'd shoot another video and show you guys a little bit about my shop. I guess just show you what it takes to do what I do. There's a lot of people out there that say, I can't do this, I can't do that, I don't have the tools, I don't have a computer, I don't have what it takes to do it. And that's not really true. I just wanted to talk to you guys about that and kind of show you what I've got and show you what it takes to do what I do. I don't have any of the $10,000 scanners. I don't have a dedicated laptop that I use for this. I mean, I've got laptops and I have it at home. I use it for whatever, reading whatever, the newspaper or something. But does it help? Yeah, it would help. I mean, it definitely would probably make your job easier if I had that. Maybe it would make it a little bit easier. But you can't replace knowing the basics. Unfortunately, you really can't. Like I taught myself to do this a long time ago. Nobody taught me. I didn't learn from anyone. That's another thing that I hear a lot. Like, who taught you how to do this? Nobody. I mean, my dad didn't really do this. I always had a knack for it. Some people are really good at calculus. Some people get algebra right off the bat. And then some people like me work at it a little bit. I can still do algebra. I don't choose to, and I don't do it every day at work. But I mean, this is what I choose to do. Different strokes for different folks, and I appreciate them for what they do, and I hope that they appreciate guys like me for what we do. But so basically, you don't really need all that stuff. I have basic tools, all the basic tools that you need. I have a cheap toolbox. I don't have a $10,000 toolbox. I don't have some really expensive sets of whatever that you see in good wrenches or whatever they're called. The big chain oil stores or tire stores or whatever. But I mean, what I do have is a bunch of basic cheap stuff. I got a bunch of stuff from Harbor Freight. There's lots of them everywhere. Northern Tool, Harbor Freight. You can go there and get tons and tons of tools for cheap. Man, you could spend $1,000 and have a really nice set of tools. Quite the nice stuff to work with. And you can get a lot of stuff done. And going back to like how I learned. I mean, I learned through just working on lawnmowers and stuff. When I was a little kid, I was like 12 years old. I'd work on lawnmowers. I'd take them apart. I'd take cabinets apart. I'd take electronic components apart, and taught myself to solder, or taught myself to weld when I was like 15. You think, I don't know how to weld. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I didn't either. I mean, you just do it. You keep doing it through you watch these videos. I didn't even have these when I was a kid. Now that you've got these videos on YouTube, that's one of the reasons I'm putting these videos out there. You guys can watch them, and hopefully, unfortunately in America, a lot of people, all this kind of cool stuff, the ability to do cool stuff and make and weld things and create things, we're kind of like, we're kind of falling behind in that way. A lot of people, they don't think that they can do it, even though they can. They don't choose to, or they don't want to get dirty. And I hate to see that in America. I hate to see people, doubt themselves. But I guess it's just part of progress or whatever they call it. But anyway, so don't think that you can't do this because you don't have the tools. Don't think that you can't be a mechanic or fix your car or try and change your thermostat or whatever. Definitely read about it. That's the biggest thing. You read and you'll learn. Get on the forums if you have a problem and type in, hey, how do I change a thermostat? Get on the forums, read that. Get on YouTube, look at some videos, watch the videos and see, and then go outside and get a manual. You can buy a manual for almost all cars now from AutoZones or O'Reilly's or places like that for $20. And with that and with the video, I mean, you should definitely feel confident that you can do all these things. Is it going to be easy? No, it won't be easy, but it's totally doable. And you can, you should be proud of yourself when you get done with it. But that being said, I just thought I'd walk you through my shop and show you kind of what I got. I don't have a lift in here. This shop I rented it. It's really cheap. It's in the ghetto. But unfortunately the ceilings are too low. So I went with the no lift method. I worked in a shop for, a year and a half with a lift. But I'm 6'2", and so when you're 6'2" and you're in a lift that's too small, which is what I had, you're always bent over. And that's worse. I would much rather be on my back rolling around with a creeper, which is, just a fancy word for a roller thing. It's like one of these right here. So I'd much rather be on one of these than totally bent over in a lift that only goes 5'8" or 5'9" in the air. It destroys your back. So, anyway, no lift in this building. Hopefully one day I'll get a bigger building with way higher ceilings and I'll have a lift in it, But that being said, you can look around here and see my shop, I guess we'll start from over here. There's my dog. That's Addison Doberman. start here. Parts washer. You know, I use it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I got to use it for. They're useful, but once again, I don't use it every day. It's an old welder. That's it's a MIG for sure. It's a 130 amp MIG. It's only a 110, so it doesn't get that hot. But once again, this is all I used for years. I've built so much stuff with that. It's paid for itself 100 times over, 1,000 times over. Don't let people tell you that you can't build stuff with cheap stuff like that. You know, I bought that from Home Depot, I think, or Lowe's for cheap, maybe $400, $350, and that was the first thing that I ever had. I remember buying it and thinking, man, this is expensive. You know, I didn't know how to use it. I know nothing about nothing. I just bought it and I started experimenting, and you know, the more you do it, the better you're gonna get, and then eventually you'll be welding like a great welds, doing all types of awesome stuff. And I got the alien on the wall. Just something to remind you to go fuck yourself, you know. I guess it's part of like my personality. An alien on the wall saying fuck it all. Pretty scary, but I got to get that thing fixed. What do I got? Ropes, straps, and come-alongs. It's a pretty big one. You guys probably don't have big stuff like that, but I get it all for free. I'll just find stuff and I reuse it. Rinse, recycle, reuse is what they say, you know. I got some lifts, and that's a transmission jack. That's a huge pinion. Some shop fans that I've taken down because it's just about to be spring here. I guess it is spring technically. Trash cans, metal table that I built myself, specialty, all types of specialty stuff, specialty slide hammers, and blah blah blah. Tools. You know, I got 3 toolboxes. I got metrics, standards, and then specialty stuff. Nothing real crazy. Like I said, it's all Harbor Freight stuff, you know. A lot of this is Harbor Freight. I got some other stuff in here, but, you know, I mean, if you know how to use this, you know, you're not going to break anything. If you put this little thing, you know, on a massive breaker bar, yeah, you're going to break it, you know. If you put this on a big breaker bar, less chance of it because it's an impact socket. But you can see this is what I use every day. How about wrenches? Yep, bigger wrenches, metrics, smaller metrics, and breaker bars and half-inch stuff, and that's all air tools. And hammers. This is real good. Definitely, this is what you need. Hammers, BFHs, big fucking hammers. You know, you need big fucking hammers. I got lots of them. Look, you know, 4 pounds, lots of 2 pounds. Look, custom made. You break the damn handles off of them. So this one's for really hitting stuff with some energy. This one's for smaller, for tapping. I use these all the time. That's why they stay there. So then these are the hammers that I use less with wooden handles. What is that? Oh, star keys. Oh, hex keys. There you go. There you go. That's my electronics. There's this top of my electronics. I got a scanner, you know, and it does do some things, but it's not an expensive one. It's cheap. Scanners and home meters and multimeter and spark plug testers and, you know, I don't even know what that is, a compression gauge, and that's a Fluke, just a name brand, and more expensive one, timing lights. And then, yeah, this is bigger stuff. You guys probably wouldn't need any of this. This is kind of, you know, when you get to the next level, maybe you need this, but probably not. That's all 3/4 stuff. That's really big. Look at how big it is compared to my finger. I mean, that's huge. It's a 50 millimeter nut, you know, you're not going to need that. Here, this is just other, you know, nut drivers, drill bits, vacuum gauges, etc., angle finders. And way bigger stuff. I mean, you know, once again, you know, when are you guys, you know, out there going to need something this big, you know? This is a 3 1/8 inch. I mean, it's really big, 1-inch stuff. Once again, it's from Harbor Freight, you know. You just can't beat them for how cheap they are, and if you know what you're doing, you're not going to break them. Spend some money on your nut drivers and impact drivers. These things, lithium ions are really nice. You don't have to have them though, you know. I just, you know, run what you brung is what they say. Screwdrivers. I spend some money on screwdrivers, but I buy them constantly. These things, you know, they break. They break and walk off at least once a day. So these things are really awesome. If you didn't know what that is, that's an impact driver for Phillips heads. I'll have to show you guys how to use these if you don't already know. I'm sure tons of you guys have been, you know, working on a car with a Phillips head or anything with a Phillips head or a flathead, and you can't get it off, and you just, dude, it's stripped out. You don't know what to do. I can show you ways to get it out, but this is, you know, this is one of my ways that I get and professional mechanics get bolts, you know, unstuck, Phillips heads, and etc. And basically, you know, as you hit this, it spins it. It's just called an impact driver. They're nice though. This is more screwdrivers and just, you know, fittings that I use and testers. I don't even know what that is. It's a diesel. That's a diesel compression gauge and a fuel pressure gauge. And I don't even know, grinding discs and stuff. And, you know, snap rings and custom built. That's all like filled with custom built stuff that I've just made grinding and welding stuff together, pullers and pushers and whatever. And anyway, here you go, some old school bikes. That one's from like the 50s or I say 60s. Pretty cool, you know. That's an old one. You guys have probably never even seen one of these. I don't know if you ever will. This one right here is really old. I bought it from this guy. It's an old skip chain, if you can see it. That actually, it's crazy. They're really, really weird chains. I don't even know when they made them. Probably like the 30s, man. 30s, 40s. They're called skip chains. It actually skips the link every time you go out. Here's my current stereo until I break it. I go through them pretty quick. Old wooden table that I used to use, and tons and tons of grinders and saws and grinders and, you know, sheet metal nibblers and all types of stuff under there. You know, electric stuff. Let's see. The obvious. I got a press. I use it sometimes, but not all that often. And then this is just filled with tons of junk. I mean, this is like tons of stuff that's like, you know, gonna get fixed or needs to be fixed or parts for something. All that stuff in the background goes to my boat. I got a ski boat and that goes to it. It's almost summertime, so I gotta get it all back together. And that's an engine for the motorcycle over in the corner, that basket case motorcycle you probably saw just a second ago. I got to put that thing back together. I bought it for like 45 bucks, you know, whatever. And what we got here? Oh, it's a stack bike. 2 bikes together, welded together. It's like 7.5 feet tall. If you've ever seen stack bikes, you know, 2 tall bikes, they'll call them. They're fun, dangerous, but fun. And wood burning stove that I use in the winter sometimes if it's really cold. Just a step up for big trucks. Kicks you up about 20, 30 inches. And this is like that's my waste motor oil tote. And I got just a tarp over it in case water gets in there. I don't want to get water in there. So that's waste motor oil, and I keep it. It's about full right now. And I actually, you know, I reuse my waste motor oil. I use it as a fuel. And I'll have to make another video and show you guys how to do that, because a lot of people don't understand, and I've told lots of people about it, but I try to keep my mouth shut about it. You know, it's just kind of it's a thing. You don't want to make a lot of a mess, and a lot of people will make a mess with it. But I actually take waste motor oil, I take diesel fuel, automatic transmission fluid, 80W90 weight, all that stuff goes in that bin, gets run through some filters that I have set up and through some pumps, and I centrifuge it through a centrifuge filter, which I'll have to show you guys in a different video. And then I use it as fuel. And I've got an old Mercedes diesel, like an 83 Mercedes diesel 300D, in the Apocalypse Now car, and it'll run on waste motor oil. It'll run on anything, waste motor oil, waste vegetable oil, etc., etc., etc. So you don't have to buy diesel fuel. You know, the old Fords, I've got a 92 F250 flatbed diesel, and I run it the same way on exclusively waste motor oil. Again, that's for a different video. Acetylene torch, welder, you know, I use my acetylene torch all the time. When you get good with acetylene torch, you know, oxyacetylene, you can do all types of stuff with it. You can braze with it, you can silver solder with it, you can cut, you can heat up stuff, you can bend it, pre-bend it. You know, when you know how to use a welder, you know, once again, like I was saying in the beginning of this video, everybody thinks that you need all this great stuff. And this is like, I've just upgraded to this. This is really nice. That's a 250 amp Hobart Beta Mig, wicked, real good welder. And this is a 3-phase, huge unit, you know, 500 pound, you know, industrial welder, you know, and I don't even use it anymore. So, I mean, I use this exclusively. But if you know how to use oxyacetylene and you have a small welder just like that one over in the corner, if you really understand how to bevel and you understand how to preheat your work area, you can weld really, really thick stuff with that. So don't let people, you know, yeah, it's great to have a big welder that's 250 amps. Most people don't have it because they cost $2,000, you know, and it's really hard for somebody to justify spending $2,000 in today's environment. You know, it's hard enough to make money the way it is. So if you got a unit like that, you know, and you've got an oxyacetylene, you can get both those things for cheap. That'd be the first things that you need to get if you're trying to fabricate and weld stuff, you know. And then maybe a chop table, you know, chop saw. That's the basics. You don't need the really nice stuff. It's really fun to have it, but if you don't have it, what can you do? You can still make things happen. Anyway, so blah blah blah, table, you know, lots of stupid stuff, jack stands, and you know, I don't even use that anymore. It's just a saw that isn't that great. And then I keep everything. I'm not a hoarder, but I keep everything because it's worth money to me. There's a big compressor, and there's a compressor behind that one. And you know, like I said, you know, I'm a little bit different than most of you guys because I have a shop here, so I've got to use half-inch hoses and, you know, huge volumes there, 120-gallon tanks and stuff like that. But you don't need it. You could buy small tanks from Harbor Freight and, you know, break nuts free and get impact going, you know. But anyway, so all this is just, you know, fluids, and in those buckets is tons of parts that I've rinsed, recycled, and reused, and I'm keeping for some other date, you know. But so, you know, there you go. I mean, there you go. That's my shop, you know. Do I have lots of other stuff too? Yeah. I mean, we can get a walk through. This is my old building. This building's from like 1920. It's one of the first electrical supply houses in Chattanooga. They actually used to use this building, and as you can see on the walls, pretty old walls with old limestone bases. I've been working on this place for a while. You know, eventually I'll have a kitchen over here, and there's a bathroom back in there with a shower, and yeah, so there you go. You know, I mean, I'm slowly working on it as I go. This is what I do. Eventually I'll put a staircase up right here. Got a wicked shop door and a safety fan. There's my safety fan. You'll probably see that in some other videos as it warms up. But here's my safety. I built this door myself. I thought you guys might like it. It's got a cam for a door handle. I made my own hinges. Just something to separate, you know. It's pretty hardcore, pretty heavy duty. That's pretty funny. Anyway, walking around, double metal doors everywhere and sliding gates for safety. This is my bedroom. I used to live here and crash here some. Not anymore though. Pretty nice, huh? So let's open this up. How about that? That's one of my old choppers. It's like a 500 Interceptor 500, I think, Honda. I don't even remember. That's what I think it is. I built it a couple years ago. There's an old scooter that I bought for a basket case, and here's another chopper that I built. Believe it or not, yeah, there you go. That's a Honda Rebel 250, customed out, hardtailed, built the front end. I built everything. I built everything except for the tires and the engine, gas tank, everything. Just ridiculous, you know. Check the windows. Steel bars over the windows, steel bars over the doors. Yeah, I got art projects going every once in a while. I get bored. I get bored here sometimes. Guess because I'm a loser, I don't know. More ridiculous art sculptures with people's rotors. More broken art sculptures, pinion gears that have been broken. You can see, there you go, you can spin them still. They just broke, and I took them out of somebody's car and just welded them up. I don't know. Got a tractor over there, perhaps. That's mine. Old tractor, you know. And that's about it, I guess. Just a bunch of cars, customers' cars, and stuff that's broken that needs to be fixed. That's it. That's my shop. That's my shop. That's all you really need. You can do it with this.